This is Danielle with the Vixens of Horror, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, the podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail. This independent podcast follows a group of modern Vespa riders in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns. The conversations that follow are simply our own, with no concern about the bad choices and fallout that happens. Please do not try this at home unless you invite us.
Well, you're getting better and better at that.
So there you go. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars. This one is called Paranormal Provocateur.
Where'd you get that one from?
Well, we're going all over the paranormal place, doing a little look back and follow up on UFOs and Tote-Gotes from last week, scooter news, and a new haunted pizza parlor with great food. My recent ghost hunt, the Oregon Ghost Conference, Bufo.
What is that?
That's the Burien UFO Festival. I went.
Wow.
And psychic mediumship and our recent scooter rides.
Boy, you have been busy between episodes.
I know. And my question is, how can we weave this crazy topic stream together?
I'm sure you'll find a way.
We'll see. At least now you know why this one's called the Paranormal Provocateur.
Yeah, so it makes more sense now.
Do you know what that word means?
No, I'm just trying to spell it in my head.
It's French.
It's probably a spelling bee word.
It's a French word for a person who causes dissension, who agitates me, like you.
No, you're doing that to the neighborhood.
That's true.
This is Rocky Smith with Northwest Ghost Tours, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Well, it's old school today. It looks like it's just you and me, Mark.
Well, look around.
Well, okay, so we have a little guest that came in to listen.
Who is it?
Well, it's Greg. What do we call him? The old grizzly vet.
He earned that one.
I thought I was Shaky Roberts.
Well, we'll call you whatever we want to call you. Thanks for
just don't call you late for supper, huh?
Yes, and thanks for agreeing to sit in.
Thanks, guys.
You are my co-conspirator, Mark, in all the shameless promotion of all good things, which are ghosts, scooters, and bars.
Yeah, the trifecta.
So welcome, Mark, and welcome, Greg.
Good to be back.
Thank you.
Hey, did you know that we continue to be the #1 innovative leader in paranormal scooter and bar podcasts?
Nobody's passed us yet?
No. So
way to stay out front.
Just a quick thank you for listening. And if it were not for you, our audience, this would be a futile and lonely project.
Now, did you pick any new listeners up internationally?
Well, as a matter of fact, we did. We had never broken into the continent of Africa.
Ah, the Dark Continent.
We did. We finally have some listeners in South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah, the northern part of South Africa, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, there's people there too.
So a quick shout out to those guys, people,
nice.
and thank you for listening. I even noticed that there's been a few more listens, so they've been adding to it. They're either going back and saying this can't be real.
You know, there are 3 official languages of South Africa.
Afrikaner.
Afrikaans, yeah.
Okay. And
English.
Okay. And the other one?
Either Bantu or Dutch.
That is very cool. Thanks for knowing that.
Well,
Greg, you're a useless pit of
I just
information.
hope there are no blood diamonds involved.
Hey, we don't even talk about that. Okay, don't get us in trouble.
Nobody here is buying diamonds for their wives.
So please send us feedback on our Facebook page, and we want to hear from you. Like our Facebook page and our Instagram account and the Twitter. We're super easy to find. Just search scooters, ghosts, or bars anywhere, and we come up. And if you want to get to know us a little better, go to our website where all our podcasts are available, and we have a short bio and a really flattering picture of our writers. That's at chasingghosts.net. Hey, and please remember to tell your ghosty or scooter or pub friends to download, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. We can also be found everywhere else podcasts are played. So please spread the word, and because that's how we grow. You got to tell people.
Did you just say ghosty?
I did. I'm sorry.
I don't like that.
Hey, how about this? Libsyn, the distribution platform that hosts our podcast, is going to feature us on their blog, the Rockin' Libsyn Podcast, in May. Thank you, Libsyn.
Now, what's the special thing about that?
Well, they they do a blog on their site that talks about different podcasts.
They have more listeners than we do?
They have 35,000 different podcasts on their platform.
Oh, my.
They're also going to share our little independent study and sound on their very popular podcast, The Feed, with Elsie and Rob.
Is that kind of like the
No,
Chew?
No, it's not.
On ABC?
No, it isn't. But of course, you can find that anywhere because they have their own app, which I'm looking into, and it's called The Feed. Anyway, we really appreciate their interest and support. So again, thank you, Libsyn. And Alexa. Oops, did I just mess somebody who was listening to this just now?
Probably.
She stopped. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah, see, she came right up. Anyway, we are in the midst of having an Alexa skill created for our show. It'll be called Chasing Ghosts Podcast. And once executed, all you have to say is, Alexa, please enable Chasing Ghosts Podcast. And you'll be able to listen with terrific control, be able to back it up, move it forward, go to a certain spot on any of your Alexa-enabled devices. So,
okay, now that kind of impresses me. I don't really buy into the whole ghost thing, but Alexa, I know, is where you talk to Alexa and it just poof, it appears.
But if you would have taken Alexa back in time, they would have thought that was a ghost. Just until
absolutely.
we understand the science behind it. Right now, we call it ghost, but there could be a lot more to it. It could be string theory.
Yeah, well, the hamstring.
Anyway, that's pretty cool, and we're pretty excited about all that. What do you think, Greg?
I like it.
Thanks.
Hi, this is Danny at Vespa Portland. You are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars.
Scooter news.
Well, I was going to ask, are we still doing scooter news?
Scooter news.
Now it's coming?
This is it.
I can't wait. These are my most exciting times.
So,
because it's all new to me. I don't go on these ventures with you.
Scumati scooters are coming to the USA.
What kind?
Scumati.
You're not saying that right.
Scumati. Scumati scooters are coming to the USA per the blog Scooter Files. Scumati is a UK-held company that builds and distributes worldwide except for the USA. But they may be getting DOT approval to offer these cool bikes here.
What else do they make? Or is this it?
This is it. The name is a conglomeration of scooter and manufacturing and distribution, or Scumadi. Scumati. I like
Madi better.
Scumati. Okay, well, that's where they get the name. They've got a retro look, GP Lambretta, and they currently offer up to a 200cc.
Oh, look at that! That does look cool. Do they all come with a little racing number on the side?
I think so. That's the size of the motor that's on the sides there, and they call it a TL200 or a Turismo Leggera. Once again, let's argue about it. But they are developing through crowdsourcing a 300cc.
Have you gotten any feedback on the reliability, the quality?
I actually went on and read about it, and there's a lot of scooter shop guys who that don't really like the twist and go, right. Automatic speed. They like a shifting vintage style scooter that are riding them and are really liking them.
Now, those people are a little shiftier, though. Right?
Yes, they are.
The rest of us? So
this company was started about 12 years ago by two longtime scooter leaders who have about 60 years of experience in the scooter business.
Aren't you about 60?
I'm getting there, but I didn't start at zero on scooters. Paul Malisi of PM Tuning Racing Products and Frank Sanderson of Scooter Innovations. Anyway, the first ones that they built, the first four were carbon fiber bodies with 250 horse 250cc engines.
That'll put your hair back.
And they were all
That's a lot of horse.
they were pre-sold, and they went out and they're now already collector's items, and now they're building them for the masses. So they're not carbon fiber bodies. I think they're made out of that stuff they build bumpers out of. The
aluminum?
No. It's a hard plastic, carbon style plastic.
Oh, the flexible kind.
Yeah, well, semi-flexible, but they look good. Yeah. So
these look great. I'm looking at them.
Fuel injected, water cooled. They have ABS brakes, polycarbonate. Thank you, Greg. So we're excited about the fact that they're coming to the U.S. It'll be another great quality offering in the scooter world. And I don't know.
Are you going to add one of these to your stable?
I might have to. And I think maybe I might look into being a dealer.
Oh.
I mean, why wouldn't I? I would only be
you could screw more people over. That would be good.
I could only be open on Saturdays, but
no, because that's a scooting day. Only in the morning then. free up your afternoons for scooting.
Right. Well, I'm thinking about buying a BART. Well, let's not talk about that yet.
Well,
That's
yeah,
coming up
you're going
later in the
sideways.
podcast. So anyway,
What's the price range on these?
Well, it's in pounds the way they said it. But
So how much do these weigh?
2,500 around 2,500 pounds. They start for the 50 up to I think about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds. So what is that? 8 to 9 grand?
That's
This
a
is where
heavy scooter.
Greg has to come in.
That's
What's
a heavy scooter at 2,500 pounds.
Right.
Now, how about in Bitcoin?
Well, they are a pretty advanced company. Maybe they take it.
Okay.
Let's keep our eyes open. If we hear any more information about the Scumati scooters, let's share it. Okay.
I'm glad to be in the know now. Thanks for Scooter News.
This is Danielle at the world-famous London Chop House in Detroit, Michigan, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Now, Mark, haven't you said that you have family members that have been haunted or experienced ghosts?
Well, if you remember our last podcast, Tote-Gotes and UFOs, we told the story of my sister on a date down at
That's
Dash
what it
Point. Well, I met with her over the Easter holiday.
How is she anyway?
She's doing quite well.
Good,
Thank you.
good.
We left at a nifty little spot in Olympia called the Cascadia Grill, and it's right downtown. It has lots of personality, including 2 cooks that were going at it in the in the kitchen that everybody could hear screaming
Was
at
it
each
over
other.
your order that had 6 different changes?
Probably. I had to have it wrapped in lettuce. But it was really entertaining, and it was probably because they had to work Easter. Who knows? Anyway, I went to the restroom, to the men's head, and it said, for women, it said Jane's, and on the men's, it said Dick's.
Did you?
So Dick
were you
and-
befuddled or?
No,
where was your-
I could figure out which one to go to. But once you got inside, there were like 100 pictures on the wall of famous dicks.
Whoa, a bit risque, isn't it?
No, well,
I thought
like
this was a family
Dick,
show.
like Dick Cheney.
oh,
Dick
thank you.
Big Dick. It's not a family show. Dick Van Dyke. That sort
Dick
of thing.
Tracy.
Yeah, Dick Tracy. So I liked
How
it.
many dicks can you name right now?
2 right
Off the
in
top
front
of
of me. Anyway, I did my business in there. I peed and looked at the dicks on
Were
the
you
wall.
intimidated at all?
No, not really. They're just their faces.
Okay. The happy head.
So I like the little restaurant though. I think that if we get on our scooters and do a day trip, we should head down to downtown Olympia and go to the Cascadia and go to the Spar, which is a McMinimans. They're all
Okay.
within walking distance, so we could park. I mean, if the torrential rains ever stop in the neighborhood.
Good luck with
here.
that.
After a few drinks, I asked my sister about her UFO sighting in the 1960s near Dash Point and mentioned that we may have taken some liberties on our recent retelling of her story and what happened in the car. But here is her actual account of the UFO over Vashon Island in Puget Sound, straight from the sister's mouth.
Let's hear it.
So I'm with my sister Gaye. We talked about her on the last podcast that she had a UFO experience in Maury Island during the big UFO flap back in the late 50s and 60s. And I actually pinned her down, and we're capturing her story now. So Gaye, can you tell us what happened on Dash Point and what year was it?
I'm thinking it was either 1964 or 1965 in the summer. A friend and I had walked out to the end of the pier, and we were, looking over the water and the lights from Vashon Island that was facing us.
Which Maury Island is attached to. There was a
that I
famous
don't-
Maury Island
So this was
UFO
on-
incident.
This was on the right-hand side of the island, so the northern.
Okay, what'd you see?
We're looking at the island, we see behind the island something rose up, and it looked like a handheld dumbbell. It had a 4-sided center, and then it had 2 5-sided ends that looked like a dumbbell, and it was translucent. You could see the beams inside of it. It was glowing red and green, and it rose up from behind the island, and it hovered there for a few minutes, and then it just went poof, and it rose up, went backward and up until we couldn't see it anymore. And we both looked at each other and went, whoa, And I saw him again about 10 years ago, and we both went out there to the same place and talked about what we saw that night, because we both remembered it exactly the same way.
Oh my God. That's a great story. I wish I would have included it in Tote-Gotes and UFOs when we did the last podcast. So thank you, and I'll put it in this one. We'll do a little follow-up.
Okay.
Thank you, Sister Gaye.
You're welcome.
My, she tells a great story.
Yeah, and I think it's surprisingly close to Maury Island, which
Now,
is...
you've been infatuated with Maury Island for quite some time.
Well, it is one of the most famous UFO stories. It started the whole wave, the UFO wave in the Northwest, and Men in Black, and just all kinds of things.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Right. So, but if you haven't researched the Maury Island UFO incident, you should. And there's a movie, a short film that was done locally here called the Maury Island Incident. It's on Amazon. Or if you go to the Tin Room in Old Town Burien, they have a theater.
We've been to the Tin Room.
More than once. I went to the Burien UFO Festival.
You did?
Just the other day.
Pray tell.
Watched the Maury Island Incident movie, which was super well done. It was done by the guys that do Almost Live. So the same
John
Scott
Keister. Schaefer,
the director of Almost Live, and a couple other guys that were down there. But more importantly, what a great bar.
Oh, it's a fantastic bar. It's always a great stop.
It's an old metalworking shop where they've incorporated a classic small movie theater venue feeling to it.
Right.
It's got two bars.
Comfortable feel to
One
it.
in the theater area, one in the restaurant area. A nice rounded wood bar. They must have bought it as an antique already.
Now, did you run into our good friend and patron that lives very close there, the lizard?
The lizard showed up at the
he did?
UFO festival. He did. Yeah, surprisingly.
I will have to talk to him about his thoughts.
I believe he and Beth were rolling their eyes at each other. So the restaurant does feature fresh squeezed drinks, very important to me. Mm-hmm. The menu is very strong with a nice nod toward Tex-Mex and an aware, and I say present staff. So the people working there are actually engaging, looking at you, and give a shit.
I've never had a bad experience at the Tin Room.
So we give the Tin Room our top scoot to it now score.
Absolutely.
10 to the 10.
It's getting the best rating that we have. So congratulations, Tin Room. I'm sure you've been waiting for this particular review.
All right, Mark. So that tells me a little bit about what you've been up to these rainy days. But where else have you been? I know you went somewhere else on another adventure.
You could hardly wait to ask me about this.
I've been dying to know more about this one.
So I went to the Oregon Ghost Conference in Seaside. It was a couple of weeks ago with my wife and our
oh,
two
dear
sons.
Lord. You drug Beth along?
Yeah, and she only asked me once. She looked at me and she said, "When did it happen that I married crazy?"
Well, she had to know it was coming, just a matter of when.
Yeah. I don't know. I try to keep a sense of humor about it, but I am a little bit fascinated. I'm, as I've mentioned in the past, I'm a paranormal enthusiast. I'm no expert, but
I could just imagine the crowds down there. Were there 10 or less?
It was 12.
Probably like our listening audience.
1,200 people.
What?
Yeah. It was actually the whole town was sold out. The bars were full, and the locals
1,200.
1,200 attendees
That's
plus the
600 para.
Right. Yeah, good point, Greg. So I had my first psychic medium reading when I was down there. Her name was.
How long were you down here?
We were there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So you just threw Beth's whole weekend down the toilet.
No, here's the deal.
Did you say sidekick or psychic?
Psychic. And Beth went down to have a weekend with her sons, and I snuck over to the conference and made them go. So Skeeter, my psychic, sat down with me, and she actually did a pretty good job.
Oh, Skeeter was a female?
She was, and
she wore
probably still is.
She, we're using her name.
You never know
and I wanted to be nothing but kind because she was very, very kind. But she knew my childhood nickname. She goes, "Where did Towhead come from?" So she started with that, and if you know my childhood nickname, it was Weed. The reason I was called Weed was because...
Well, we know why you're called Weed now.
It's legal. So it is because I was called a toe-headed Swede when I was a little teeny kid, but I thought they said a two-headed weed. So somehow she pulled that out. And then there were 7 or other things that were really, really pretty impressive. But finally at the end, she goes, "Now you've been thinking about doing your own business, bioengineering." And I went, "Oh, no, that's not even close. I have no education. I don't know." She goes, "Wait, that's not it. It's not bioengineering. It's
beating
Gastro. It's gastro engine. It's gastropub. You want to open a bar. And I went, oh, that's a little scary because.
Was Beth with you on this?
No, she wasn't even listening to it.
Good,
but she
would
did
have
say.
Gut punched Skeeter.
Yeah, I know. She did say that whoever was my spirit guide was saying I should do it. So thank you, Skeeter. Can hardly wait to open our next bar.
And
also the name of one of your past dogs.
My first dog was named Skeeter, and I told her that. Yeah, a Boston Bull.
So you've got a bar coming soon and a scooter shop.
Well, they're all going to be in the same building, mister. I'm getting ready to retire. I got to do something.
Look at you go.
Yeah. So I also.
How much stuff can you fit in an Airstream?
Well, look at this room. I reconnected with Neil McNeil.
Are you making this up?
No, that's his name. He's a local, respected paranormal filmmaker. He's an educator and he's an investigator. He told a great story about Deke Slayton. He's an astronaut, and it was really, really impressive. And he's agreed to come here to our studio and do an interview to tell that story. Why is that important? Do you think?
Deke coming here?
No,
or
Deke.
Neil McNeil.
Deke is Deed.
Ooh.
Yeah. But my father worked at NASA for Boeing, and I have a picture of him and Deke and John Glenn all together. So I think this is going to be really cool to get the
You got
Deke.
a picture of JG?
Yeah, I do.
Where is it?
I'll show you. Do I have to do it now?
Well, you've been holding out on me all these years.
And so Neil McNeil is also the guy that I went and saw in Seattle that connected the dots for me on the ghost dog in Already Dead that I saw on the bridge.
Old Shep?
Old Shep. If you go to season 2, episode 1 of our podcast a few months ago, you can listen to the ghost dog. And this is the guy that told the story, and I went, oh, now we've got it figured out.
Boy, you were just weaseling into everything over here.
Well, like I said, it's a Paranormal Provocateur podcast because we're talking about everything.
It's becoming more and more crystal clear every minute I listen to this.
Hey, this is Athena from Stuck Junction Saloon in Sumner, Washington, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
All right, Mark, enough about you. Can we get back to our actual rides where we go out to bars and on our scooters?
Yeah, we had a great ride recently. It was a sunny Sunday afternoon. You had a friend join us.
I did, but not a scooter rider.
No, he was a Harley rider.
He was different. He was a different guy.
And he wore the whole getup.
Oh, he went leathered, yeah.
He did.
Got the goatee and the works.
So there he was riding his Harley with a bunch of modern scooter riders.
Which one of these is not like the others?
That's right. I think he had the bigger balls to do that than us being with him.
No doubt.
So we headed out to Puyallup, Washington, to Wicked Pie. This is an adults-only pizza joint, newly opened in a very old building in the downtown area. We were told it was an old bordello upstairs, and it scared everybody that worked there to go up there. Currently, I think they store antiques up there.
Yeah, the bartender did say she didn't like going up there.
Not at all. Yeah. Things out of the corner of their eye. Just it's very uncomfortable. And
even when you offered to go up there with her, she was like,
she wouldn't do it. No. Yeah. So, but first the pie, Mark. The pie. Wood fired, dough with the right crunch on the outside and pull on the inside. The red sauce is flavorful and spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Quality ingredients as toppings. Probably the best pizza in the South Sound currently, though it's not a very high bar because there's some pretty bad ones down here. But you live on burgers and pizza, I mean, pretty much all the time. Why don't you tell us what you thought of it?
Well, that's a good description. I really enjoyed that pizza pie. It was so good. In fact, when we went there, I talked my dear wife into going
back
a week or two later. Yeah.
Wow.
Met my brother and his wife and had more pizza pie. And it was still good.
Did I mention there are no kids there?
And that makes it even better.
Yes. So they have a full functioning bar, no children allowed, and I think that makes it worth the price of admission right there. It's already got over 120 reviews on Yelp with a 4.5-star rating. So there are.
I believe that.
There are others out there that agree with me. So
I'm one of them.
So while
this is something I can agree with you on.
Finally, holy shit! While the restaurant is newer, there really are some things there that are not so new and not as welcoming as the Help. However, they were the people working there were kind to scooter riders and one Harley dude. And Mallory, a very good soul, agreed to share her Wicked Pie Pizza ghost story. This is right. Mallory.
You went off with her and into a little corner and chit-chatted.
There we went. So let's hear that. Well, hey, we're with Mallory at Wicked Pie here in downtown Puyallup. Only been here about a year, right?
Yeah, we've been open for about a year now.
But the building itself is older. Do you know anything about the building?
Yes, the history that I know of the building is it used to be an old brothel. That's pretty much all the information that I know of it.
Back in the day.
Way back in the day, yes.
Because I've never been here for that.
Yeah, no, nor have I. But I'm not actually really familiar with the area at all. I just came into it, and then after witnessing some things, I tried to look a little more into the history of it. And
so we also talked to Monica, who told us that upstairs it's got a very creepy feel.
Yes, it does.
It's just storage, but nobody likes to go up there alone.
No, I went up a couple weeks ago. I've just heard a lot of people talking about it, the staff here. So I went up by myself, actually, and went and walked in all the rooms, and I could just feel the hair on my back go up. Wow. It was actually really crazy.
But things have happened to you right down here in the restaurant.
Yes.
So tell us the first thing that happened, or the oddest thing that happened.
My first encounter of anything happening, I was closing the restaurant. I was by myself, and I went into the kitchen area, actually, and the lights started turning on and off. And then the front of the restaurant, the lights started turning on and off, and it kept just going back and forth really quickly. And the only way to turn the lights on and off is in the far back of the kitchen. So it made me think that there was somebody physically in the building with me. So I freaked out a little bit, and normally I don't call anybody. I'm not like damsel in distress, but I called one of our cooks because I was super freaked out. I thought somebody was in here. He ended up coming into the restaurant, checking all the back of the kitchen, the refrigeration, everything. There was nobody in here. So he waited at the bar. He was just going to wait till I closed up shop. And then all of a sudden, all these pans went flying off the shelves back there.
Oh my God.
And we literally were just back there. There was nobody back there.
And that is a really uncomfortable feeling.
Yes.
Is it not?
Yeah.
What did you do next?
Yeah, so Charlie, his name was Charlie, he looked at me and he was like, let's get the hell out of here. This doesn't feel good right now. So I just closed up shop for the night and called it good.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, that was like the first encounter of something serious. I knew something else was
strong.
in here. Yeah.
I mean, and what, has anything else happened?
Yeah, there was another night I was working. I was bartending that night, and I had walked around the front of the bar, so there was nobody behind the bar at this point. And a couple wine glasses were on the counter, and they went flying off. They didn't just drop down; they were like flew all the way into the closet, and there's like a couple feet. And the restaurant kind of went silent because it's shattering glass. And this table across the restaurant asked me to come over, and she's like, I hope you guys have cameras because I just watched those glasses go flying off. She's like, they didn't fall. Like, I just watched it. It was like somebody picked it up and threw it.
Wow. I've got a chill just listening to the story.
It was crazy. Yeah. So those are really my encounters that I've had so far. And it's been a couple months since I've noticed anything. I close up a lot by myself at nighttime, but yeah.
Well, and you're very brave to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty open to the idea of ghosts or anything like that. It doesn't make me really uncomfortable. But my first encounter, it felt like a negative energy, and since then it hasn't. So.
Well, how cool! Maybe just wanting to get your attention.
Yeah.
And now that they have it, they're going to be a little nicer.
Yeah.
Well, Mallory, hey, thank you. And we're at Wicked Pie in Puyallup. And by the way, wonderful ratings, great pizza. Our crew at Chasing Ghosts just had a big one. Mm-hmm. They liked it, but I'm low carb, so I had the meat. I went with the meatballs,
which is still a good choice.
It was great. Anyway, and cool place. Go down there if you can. Wicked Pie. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mallory. Mark, I went there last night.
Oh, you did? Was Mallory working again?
She was. She was working in the back, though. Still really good and still really busy. We had to wait a long time for a table. Thanks, Wicked Pie Pizza, for having, wicked good pie.
Well put.
The Scooter Group rates this as a scoot there now joint.
I would agree.
There's even parking in the back for scooters.
There's always parking in the back.
We also went to the powerhouse that day along the tracks in East Puyallup. This is an old power station for the electric trains that ran from Tacoma to Seattle via Puyallup back in the early 1900s. It was called the Puget Sound Electric Railway. It began in 1902, running 38 miles through our scooter stomping grounds.
Makes it great.
It ran for 26 years, finally losing out to steam and roads being built all around there. They didn't want to, but They had to close it down.
Is that where the term losing steam came from?
It did for them, and they lost it. It had one of those third rails, electrified third rail, that appears that killed a bunch of livestock and people.
Whoa.
So they would actually have derailments and some crashes with the trains because of the dead animals on the tracks.
I guess I can see how steam won out then.
Is that too much? I mean, should we talk about ground beef and the burgers there at this point?
You know.
It's also a brewery offering only their beer. Now, that frustrates you sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like the beer I can see through.
There's no Coors Light for you at that particular place. They do offer wines and hard liquor.
Yeah, they've got whiskey. That's okay.
So do not fear. The bar area is super small. Enough room for 5 to 7 people, maybe. The help is generally college age and very friendly.
Easy on the eyes.
Very, very friendly. The building sports an electric Tesla-like set of wires that go all the way up the big, tall walls.
And you hear the electricity zapping through the line.
Goes up and they do that as trains go by.
The choo-choo
they
train
actually
goes
hit
by.
a switch when the train goes by. And
I've been able to hit that switch once.
You hit it?
I did.
Nice. The food is fine.
The electricity ran right out of the building.
The food is fine, but the building itself really, really makes the place. We go there several times a year on our scoots, and this makes it a staple rating for us.
Yes, absolutely.
If you drop in, say hi to Lexi, the manager from us.
Not Alexa.
It could be.
Oh.
Hi, this is Ben at Vespa Portland, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars.
So from there, we headed to the chalet. Is that on Pioneer? Is that road?
Yes.
Oh, so that's a roadhouse approach, right?
Right.
With a good food atmosphere. They have a very popular Tuesday fried chicken offering that begs the question, why don't they offer it all the time?
Chickens, they just don't grow on trees, Mark.
People keep asking, and they keep saying, just come on Tuesday for the chicken.
Maybe it must be their slow day. That's the only way they can get them in.
Yeah. So we're going to head there, go back there this summer on a Tuesday and give this our final rating. But it seems to be a solid stop.
And it's right between Puyallup and Tacoma, so it's a nice little handy geographical position.
It is a destination bar, though.
Yes.
There's nothing around it. No. Train tracks and cornfields.
Open fields.
Yeah. We made one other little trip. We went to 3 different bars.
We were able to squeeze one more in.
Yeah, and Bobby Chung really kept us on a schedule on that day.
Yes, he did.
Oh, my God. It's almost like he's in trouble every time he goes.
Well, we should know that feeling.
So we went first to Sumner, Washington, and we went to a bar called Stuck Junction. You know why it's called that?
No.
Sumner used to be called Stuck Junction before it was Sumner.
People got stuck there and didn't like it?
I guess. Well, it was a muddy, sloggy logging town, and it was called Stuck Junction. It was in between, it's down in the valley there. Right. You got hills on both sides. You got a slough running through it. You got that river running through. A river runs through it. And
that'd be a great movie.
And I think it was just all mud. Anyway, Stuck Junction is it's a bar. It used to be called Sharky's, I think.
Yeah, way
before,
back.
And we went in there for a quick drink. We did talk to the bartender, a manager who's been there for since the new owners took over.
Right, quite some time.
She's been there every time we've gone in.
But then Bobby got hungry and had to get something to eat.
He had a salad.
It delayed our day a little bit.
He did, and then I had a second drink, which I don't normally do on these rides.
No,
never.
We really had to twist your arm.
One drink per hour. And then Bob said, well, you kept us there too long. From the Stuck Junction in Sumner, which, again, is a perfectly fine stop. I'm going to call it a staple again.
Yep.
We headed to the BLT.
What does that stand for?
That's the Bonnie Lake Tavern.
Oh, so not the sandwich.
No, well, I think they serve it, but do you remember talking to the bartender there?
She was very unimpressed with the BLT.
I said, well, if this place is called the BLT, how is it? She goes, you would think it would be great.
She was disappointed.
She goes, it is just a normal BLT. And I go, yeah, let's talk about that. Bob and I split a buffalo burger.
Right.
No bun.
You took no bun.
No bun. Yeah, what'd you have?
I had beer.
Oh, attaboy. Just one, though.
Well, of course. That's all we can have.
That's right. The BLT is on a main highway. It's on 410.
As you crest the hill.
That 410 goes from Sumner basically to
Yakima.
All the way to Yakima.
That's what took us east one year.
We went over the pass and we went to Whistling Jack's, which is on 410 on the other side.
That's quite a ways.
That was season 1, I believe. It could.
Yeah.
So the BLT, just fine.
Nice.
First time there.
It's a dive bar.
It is. I haven't been. Here's my deal, and I think
Talk
I'm going
to
to
me.
make.
Let it out.
I think this is going to be a rule. I don't go to chain restaurants. You know that, right?
Yep.
This had a drop ceiling. It had those ceiling tiles
Yes.
with the metal drop ceiling. I'm not going to go to any more bars with that.
Really puts you in a bad mood.
I hate it. It feels like I'm in a rumpus room. I do not like it.
One bad experience and you go sideways.
So anyway, we left the BLT. We weren't there very long and headed back down the hill into Milton, Edgewood area.
Yes.
On
our way home.
We ended up at the Mill, a newly opened restaurant in Edgewood. Is that Edgewood or Milton?
That is, I would consider it Milton. It's right on the verge there.
It used to be the Mr. A's building for the locals that are around there, which was a very popular watering hole.
Yes, especially a Friday
for
afternoon.
many, many years. And then it's been quiet and closed down for years.
Quite dormant.
The Mill went in. It's a logging motif, high-end logging motif.
Yeah.
They're not ashamed of anything there. We went in and had a drink, and you were doing some planning for a big ride this summer.
Yeah, Lonnie or the Lizard and I have this year's big ride, so we had to get some details.
Where again
worked
are
out.
we going?
Well, to hell and back if we don't straighten up.
All right. So you won't tell us where we're going, so I can't do research on haunted bars. But just so you know, this is called our Pub Scoot. It'll be Pub Scoot 18, where we take 4 days to hit 40 bars. And so far, we only make it to about 30. We've made it to about 36 as our top year.
We're going to push for 40 again, though.
This will be our 12th year of the Pub Scoot. And if you want the T-shirt, just drop us a line and we'll include you in the order. They cost about $175 a shirt.
But they're worth every penny of it.
And we use the money to get out of jail. So the Mill is it's a lounge. They pour a decent drink. It's nicely
restaurant attached.
Very nice place. Yeah,
clean.
And it's
Corey's a good bartender.
Very close. So I left you there to do your planning and headed.
Oh, what a good boy! You head home early.
I headed home early. So that's a little bit of a cover of the South Sound bars that we've been to in the last few rides. A little bit of paranormal here and there. Some UFO. I haven't brought up any cryptids. I didn't talk about a ghost hunt I went on.
Well, we'll save that for the next one.
We will. That was in Port Gamble, which also has a ghost conference in the fall.
Save it.
I'm just
Save
saying.
it.
So
and Scooter News. We had Scooter News.
We did. This. So I guess we'll be ending this after acknowledging our musical input again by Weeknights and Mount St. Helens, whose original music is used by permission and found everywhere, even on Spotify with us. If you'd like to record a transition for our podcast, you hear them throughout the whole thing. Just grab your smartphone and record yourself saying, this is Mark, and I'm in Tacoma, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, and just email it to us. There's a spot right on your phone. Send it to Mark H. at chasingghosts.net, and we'll get you on there. And by the way, thanks to the guys at Vespa Portland for the recent slug. They sent us a group of those.
Nice.
Also, your bar or scooter hauntings are also needed. So please tell us your story, record it or write it. If we don't care, we'll share it and send it via our website, chasingghosts.net, and like our Facebook page. And please give us feedback. We do want to hear from you, and we appreciate you listening.
Hey, I'm just glad that the title now makes sense to me.
The Chasing Ghosts title?
No, the episode. Yeah,
you couldn't remember. It's Paranormal Provocateur.
I can't pronounce it, but it makes sense now. Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's a wrap. Thanks. This podcast and all others, including the music by Weeknights, is copyright by Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
You hear that?